hear what I was playing, Lane?
I didn't think it polite to listen, sir.
Oh, well, I'm sorry for that, for your sake. I don't play accurately. Anyone can play accurately. But I play with wonderful expression. As far as the piano is concerned, sentiment is my forte. I keep science for life.
Yes.
Welcome to A New Retelling, the podcast where we explore all the ways old tales are made new. I am your host, Jasmine Garcia, and joining me today are...
If prancing around on stage and or running from aliens gave me a bod like that, I too would be in advanced states of undress. It's River.
I'm Gillian, and I too love a handbag.
Good evening, Alex once again, and Thomas was not pleased to see a baby left near the platform.
Oh, jeez.
I am sad that I didn't watch this while eating cucumber sandwiches and muffins. Hi, I'm Sydney.
Oh, you know what? That honestly, that would make for a hell of a watch party.
Yeah, I don't really like cucumbers, so...
You know, just
They're still bread and butter.
And cake.
Honestly, just throw a full tea party. Let's do it.
And today, dear listeners, we are talking about the importance of being earnest, specifically the pro shot of the production starring Ncuti Gatwa as Algernon, the man who managed to dethrone David Tennant as Hottest Doctor, which is quite the feat.
Greetings, I am IER60, Star Wars Retelling Connections. Point of intersection found. This is a degree 3. Amanda Lawrence played Commander Daisy in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Additional degree found. Hugh Skinner played Holdo's first officer in The Last Jedi.
Bars. And all other times when we are not in the bars, we are so devoted the lines blur. 10 is a TA that I want to be the lore force so very badly, even though I know it's bad for my health. I trust 15 not to lead me into hell. 10 is leading me into hell with a smile on his face, and I'm going all the way with him. There is no say in the matter.
Sure. Friend. Let's go with that.
This is, of course, a production of one of Oscar Wilde's plays, and I actually did only just find out about this. This was one of the last plays that he did before he got arrested.
Awkward.
Yeah, Alex, because I know that you were probably arguably the newest to the very concept of this play. Do you know the lore with Oscar Wilde?
No, I do not.
Okay, who wants to help me explain?
Oh dear.
You know how general Victorian society was not chill about gay people?
Oh, Primus, no.
And you know how being caught as gay was basically not quite, like, kind of a death sentence?
Certainly a social one.
Yeah. Basically one of his boyfriend's fathers kind of sold him up the river, and he couldn't prove his innocence in court because the boyfriend also sold him out, so he was sent to prison and also eventually to a work camp where I believe he died.
He was released in 1897, but never came back to the UK and never really financially or socially recovered from having been imprisoned for this. He apparently did not let that ruin his sense of humor, though, because his final words were reportedly, either the curtains go or I go. And I guess we know how that went.
Dang it, my white guilt is flaring up again.
I mean, he was Irish, but that doesn't count. This is more like straight guilt.
And
That too.
It's oops.
Dagnabbit.
It's oops. Everyone needs to go to horny jail.
So what is everyone's connection to this particular play and just the works of Oscar Wilde?
Fun fact, I have none.
Ditto.
Wait, River, not even Dorian Gray?
No. I did not have to read Dorian Gray for school, and I've never read it on my own personal time because I'm, as you can imagine, bad at reading classics on my own personal time.
My first exposure was technically the Fairy Tales for Every Child episode they did on The Happy Prince, which was a short story that he did. Oh yeah. I've read Lady Windermere's Fan. I can't tell you anything about it because it was 6 years ago since I read it. I read Salome. I know the lore. I have not read Importance of Being Earnest, but my freshman year of college, the person I usually sat next to, the way it worked was you picked a play at the start of the semester for your script analysis, and then you wrote 3 papers for it. I chose Glass Menagerie. He chose Importance of Being Earnest because he did it in high school. It was also in our Norton Anthology. Shout out to the Norton Anthology of Drama. For just the Norton Anthology period, there is Our first paper was a protagonist analysis, which could be hard for this, but he kept saying, it's like, Algernon's the protagonist, and here's why. I will keep making my argument.
Well, hey, this is definitely the episode to keep making that argument.
Yes. But I was like, between Jack or Algernon, that is yes, technically, it's not like a stage time thing, or like, you could make a case for either or, but you had to choose one for the paper. That's another story. Never mind. Anyway.
Wrong IER eligible thing, but yes.
I am aware of Earnest 101, which the same people who did 12th grade or whatever, their Importance of Being Earnest.
Oh, so one of those web series that everybody was doing after the Lizzie Bennet Diaries hit big.
Yeah, which they had a gender fluid Jack, non-binary Algernon, and that was like, and they were both lying about name and gender, so that's a very fun premise. I have not seen it yet, but yeah.
I could see that very much happening, yes, unfortunately.
There's the name and the gender and the identity of it all.
Extremely probable reading of the whole thing.
How about you, Sid?
I actually have the play Importance of Being Earnest in my library, like my personal library. I never read it, but I did watch the 2011 Roundabout theater production with Santino Fontana. I just watched that because I thought about doing a monologue from Importance of Being Earnest. I ended up not doing it. Also, I watched this production. I never had to read Dorian Gray for school or anything, so I'm not familiar with that, but I am aware of Oscar Wilde's story and Importance of Being Earnest, and that's it.
Okay, it's interesting. I'm the only one who has, in fact, read The Picture of Dorian Gray. In fact, I consider it one of my favorite novels of all time. And the funny thing is, unfortunately, certain series that we don't talk about anymore and a certain fan website to said series is the reason I read it in the first place. So I guess something good came out of it? But yes, I am such a fan. I have the uncensored, annotated version of it right here.
Nice.
Because one of the things about The Picture of Dorian Gray is that it was considered to be too gay, that a lot of it had to get censored back then. Which is saying quite a lot, because even the uncensored one is pretty gay.
Fellas, is it gay to
be so obsessed with your good buddy that you paint a portrait of him that is so beautiful that it makes said buddy decide to sell his soul so he can remain that beautiful?
Men will sell their souls to maintain their vanity and then go to therapy.
I never had much vanity to begin with, so...
And I've also seen the 1940s version of it. You should listen to the Biggest Night in Podcasting episode on that. And I've seen the Ben Barnes version of it.
Have you seen Petty Dreadful?
Bits and pieces, yes. I always thought that was odd casting, to be honest.
Like, nothing against Reeve Carney, but part of the whole point of Dorian Gray is that he's supposed to look so angelic that people can't believe he would do something so terrible. But in fairness, a lot of casting directors get this wrong.
But as for the rest of Oscar Wilde's oeuvre, I'll admit that I have not indulged in as much of it as I really should, even though, now that you mentioned the Santino Fontana version of The Importance of Being Earnest, I am thinking about that time where they did those Jersey Shore Gone Wild with an E videos.
Oh dear, sweet Primus.
Where they quoted Jersey Shore in their, fancy posh British voices. Santino Fontana saying,
"There's no way I'm going to Jersey without my hair gel. I can't leave without my gel."
Lives in my head rent-free.
But that is, speaking of Importance of Being Earnest, that is on par with the amount of pettiness that...
Yes, exactly.
Which also, speaking of that 2011... very stacked casting. Brian Bedford's Lady Bracknell. He got a Tony nomination for it. He also directed. You might know him as the voice of animated Robin Hood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Funny, since that's my dad's favorite Disney movie.
Gwendolyn was Rachel in Eloise at Christmas Time. River. Psst, 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 hi.
Oh God, River's dying. As much as I have not really gotten into more of Oscar Wilde stuff, even though I really should, I have always had a deep respect for just what a catty, witty bitch he was. Like, let's just list some of the best Oscar Wilde quotes that aren't in this.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I don't know the full thing, but that's him, I believe.
Some cause happiness wherever they go, others whenever they go.
A good friend will always stab you in the front.
Selfishness is not living your life as you wish to live it. Selfishness is wanting others to live their lives as you wish them to.
Everything in the world is about sex except sex. Sex is about power. Exactly.
Was that him? Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was him!
That makes that one bit in Screwed by Janelle Monáe hit even harder then.
See, everything is sex, except sex, which is power. You know power, it's just sex. You screw me and I'll screw you. to everything is sex. Subsex, which is power. You know, power is just sex. Now ask yourself who's screwing you.
It's like this historical thread binding two queer icons together. I don't know. Something about that feels really good.
With age comes wisdom, but sometimes age comes alone. Conformity is the last refuge of the unimaginative.
We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. I'm not young enough to know everything.
God grants me the serenity to accept that people are ignorant, the courage to uphold the law when I'm hostile, and the wisdom to realize that murder is illegal.
Or better paraphrased by shitpost calligrapher, God give me patience because if he gave me strength, I'd need bail money. Oscar, buddy, again, men will do anything but go to therapy.
Basically, he was the originator of the sassy gay trope, and we love him dearly for it.
Indeed we do, yeah.
He and Byron would have been held together anyway.
Yes. Yes. So with that in mind, obviously when the National Theatre pro shot of this came out last year in theaters, I made quite the journey to this theater to go see it because it was like 45 minutes away, I want to say.
It was a really nice theater, though. Like, they served food and not even just, like, at the AMC dine-in theaters. I'm talking, like, restaurant style.
Did the chairs recline?
No, they had, like, actual tables.
Oh, nice.
It was that kind of fancy. This was my first exposure to this play, and yeah, I had a grand old time with this particular production because it is, of course, very famous for really leaning into the gay shit. Starting with Ncuti Gatwa in a lovely pink dress playing the piano.
Wood. Ncuti, are you free on Sunday when I am also free? Wood.
Down, River, down!
It's like, yeah, no, again, I said I do think he might be the new hottest doctor.
I also wish he was able to wear something like that for the Barbie movie, since it was very, very Barbie pink.
Can we just talk about the costumes? The costumes in this production are incredible.
Yes.
Stunning. Not a single miss in any of them. I'm genuinely shocked at how gorgeous these are. Like, that first scene with him at the piano and a bunch of his castmates in drag around him, it does not contribute anything to the story. It's just there for him serving cunt.
Yes! One of the top YouTube comments on this pro shot is, Dear costume department, you've done a lovely job. The pattern matching on Ernest's sleeves is impeccable to the point of distracting me from the show. I was like, thought you were talking Algie, but also that's the whole thing. Who's Ernest? Is there an Ernest? There is an Ernest, but...
The fact there is an Ernest is arguably the big plot twist.
Yeah.
Ernest is the friends we made along the way.
Yes! And the polycule you accidentally end up...
with your cousin, your half-brother... It's a little weird, but whatever.
Yes.
Listen, the Victorian audiences can excuse incest. They draw the line at queerness.
One Letterboxd review I saw was like, she was okay with them being cousins, not okay with them having the name John.
Wild. Also, this is one of those examples of old-timey literature that remind you that they considered Jack to be a nickname of John.
Remember, kids, you just ask nicely.
But yeah, so... this is just a big old farcical, rich people being utterly silly and catty, and it's fucking delightful.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with you on that part, but also still a little bit confusing for some people, myself included.
Hey, we can definitely help you however you need. Like, what questions do you still have?
Not really a whole lot that weren't handled earlier, but it's kind of hard to follow everything, you know, like... for someone who isn't like inversed in this, you know, like think of it similar to how, well, I knew a lot about Ghostbusters when we did the Afterlife episode, but I'm sure you guys didn't know as much as I do. It's kind of the inverse of that.
I guess. I mean, I feel like I could follow Ghostbusters okay. But also, I'm so silly, of course. My first exposure to the Importance of Being Earnest was, of course, a particular scene in Spider-Man 2.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but even then it wasn't that much.
That was the play that Mary Jane was in while she and Peter were being like the kind of worst kind of rom-com couple.
I hate to break it to you, that's just canon Peter MJ behavior.
I know. In that case, maybe I'm glad their marriage got ruined.
No! Because everything they've done to Mary Jane since has massacred our girl.
I know.
They made her Venom! She's currently the host of Venom!
River, everyone gets to be Venom eventually. I know that.
Modern comics suck! They sent Peter to space!
It's comics. What you gonna do?
I mean, Avengers Endgame also did, but whatever.
Anyway, thing is that like with any play that is outside of what your general conscriptive time period is, it does take you a minute or 3 to get into its battle rhythm. Like, I have the same problem with, like, Shakespeare. If I'm not familiar with a Shakespeare going into it, it'll take me a couple of minutes to, like, get into its battle rhythm and be like, okay, this is how we're doing things. And it took me, like, 1 or 2 minutes to get into this battle rhythm, and then once I was in the battle rhythm, I was like, okay, I understand how we're getting from A to B. A lot of this play is relationship mapping. It is basically trying to figure out who's relations to who. Also, before we get too down the rabbit hole, Lane would kill for that butler. He is trying his fucking best. That bit where he put the straw in the glass of sherry and just tried to sip it, excellent. Good bit. A lot of good physical comedy in this.
This piece is also very dialogue heavy, so if you have trouble following dialogue, it can be kind of hard. And I would say it's more witty than like laugh out loud hilarious. Like, I laughed.
Yeah, that's probably why I had trouble.
Like, it's definitely one of those things where, yes, a relationship map definitely helps, and just getting a good sense of what the fuck is going on, even though within, like, the first actual scene, we do get Jack/Ernest/ whoever the fuck you are. Like, when he is with his fellow fancy people, including Algernon and Gwendolyn, he goes by the name of Ernest because it just makes him seem more fancy. While when he's with people who have known him basically his whole life, he is Jack or John. Again, nicknames are weird.
Yeah.
When he lies about having a brother named Ernest so he can go into the city and have fun in high society.
Which, you know, I mean, I've heard of worse ways of Victorian men trying to live a double life.
Paging Dr. Jekyll.
Yep. Now that I think about it, you want to know what this whole thing made me think? What if this was a case being like worked on and to figure out what's truly going on by Sam and Max?
See, I thought you were going to say Sherlock Holmes.
No, this case is too crazy for him. We need the freelance police on this.
No. See, here's the thing, right? If you're at home and not actively in a theater, there is no shame in having the Wikipedia page open. Sometimes you just gotta read the Wikipedia page to make sure you understood the scene you just watched. It happens. I do it with musicals sometimes when I'm listening to the album. Looking at you, Spring Awakening!
I'll keep that in mind.
That musical makes no sense without the Wikipedia page open.
I had the captions on, had the script up, had Wikipedia. Better safe than sorry.
Sometimes you gotta use the tools available to get you through the day.
We all regularly walk around with all of human knowledge in the palm of our hands. Why shouldn't we use it?
So basically, Algernon and Jack/Ernest are buddies. Really, the kind of buddies that are just catty bitches to each other. Ncuti Gatwa and Hugh Skinner absolutely devour this piece. Like,
everyone is chewing the scenery.
Yes.
It is beautiful. The scenery may be immaculate, but there is nothing left on that stage.
I will say, I feel like some of Hugh's outbursts are misplaced. Like, I get why some of them are there, and the funniest one is indeed, we've covered the scene transition! We can stop this! Yes. That is the funniest one, but there are a couple where I was just kind of like, okay, I don't know what direction your director gave, but that was probably, that could have gone a different way, and I think you would have gotten the point across better.
That's fair.
But I appreciate the sentiment. I appreciate the piano gags. The "You're beautiful" nail drop at the end. I about put myself through a wall. I was like, what are we doing here, friends? What the fuck?
And there's the girls just want to have fun motif for some reason.
Listen, what are campy gay aristocrats if not girls?
Who just want to have fun, you got a point.
Exactly.
Also Bridgerton, but that is also beside the point.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels like there's at least a little bit of Bridgerton influence on this.
Yeah.
Cecily, Gwendolyn did mention something about the season and not being the season
that's
TM.
just something that was a thing.
Yes, TMCR.
From what little I saw, Bridgerton, this definitely reminds me of it.
Very different time period, but yes. They were still pretty stuffy and obsessed with class.
And particular societal rules.
One would argue England is still obsessed with societal class and rules. They're just pretending they got over it.
Yeah, Yeah, that's fair.
I found Gwendolyn's and Cecily's, their performances interesting, especially compared to other productions, especially Cecily's. For context, Cecily is 18. And in other productions, she's usually portrayed in a more girlish way. Here, she's portrayed more as like an adult or trying to be like an adult, especially her voice. I wasn't really a fan of it, but I'm sure other people are. Like, there's a reason that she was cast.
It kind of threw me off, you know. I wasn't quite sure how old she was until I got it back from the others as to know that she was 18. You know, she sounded younger to me.
Yeah, they definitely say as much.
I feel the same way about Cecily's accent as I feel about Ashley Ashford's in the Kinky Boots original recording, which is to say, it is a curve to get used to, but then like once you've accepted it, she's basically doing the British version of a Valley Girl accent.
That would explain it. I never heard that before.
You put a gun to my head, it is probably a very specific regional British accent, but to me what it sounds like is essentially she's pitched up her voice to like if you told me this character like totally sounded like this, I would believe you. Or like the Victorian equivalent of doing that.
If there's not a modern version that does this, I'd be very surprised.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Like, Cecily sounds to me like the Victorian equivalent of a Valley Girl, which is what she's supposed to be. She's a vapid 18-year-old. What are vapid 18-year-olds if not Valley Girls waiting to happen?
She is very Cher Horowitz coded.
Yeah, with peace and love to my fellow former teenage girls.
She was played by Reese Witherspoon in the O2
Yes, which, perfect. I'm so excited to see that one day.
Also, it is fun with what little I've seen. It's Rupert Everett and Colin Firth getting in a slap fight with the muffins.
Yes, yeah, no, that was the first time I ever saw the Muffin Exchange was a gift set of that particular version of it. Yes.
I liked Gwendolyn's performance a lot. I thought it was very unique, very out there. Other, like, especially the 2011 Roundabout Theater Company production, Gwendolyn, I would compare her to Phoebe in Gentleman's Guide. Very, like, respectable, like a little goofy, but still takes herself very seriously. Here, she's just like...
Like, it feels like this was kind of the blueprint for Phoebe and Sabella, a little bit.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I didn't know better, I would assume that A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder was an adaptation of some Oscar Wilde play. Like, the influence is obvious.
Cecily and Gwendolyn's whole vibe towards the end of the play where everyone's, like, trying to straighten out the wedding, handshake, Eddie Good Olivia's delivery of Most Excellent, absolutely horny on fucking Maine!
Gwendolyn is down bad for a solid chunk of the show. And I love that. I didn't have that problem with Cecily.
Which, by the way, hi, Eliza Scanlon. Haven't seen you since the Little Women episode. Man, Beth March and Cecily are two very different characters. Good for you on the range.
Yeah, she is definitely wiser for someone who is the ingenue TMCR, but also...
But also, what is more childish than trying so hard to seem so grown up?
Yes.
Exactly.
I loved her voice, not to be a nerd, but it is very Victoria Mallory of the original Broadway cast of Little Night Music. Would high-key recommend.
I think that, again, I love that their entire scene does the loop and does in some part prove the line, you know, I think they'll call themselves sisters. Women only do that after they've called each other a lot of other things first. Which is not one of my favorite lines, but definitely up there. That and the vulgarity of a dentist. What do dentists ever do to you?
I mean, River, you've seen Little Shop of Horrors. You know what they done did.
Like I said, basically, Jack/Ernest reveals to Algernon that, yeah, I've been living a double life, basically, babes. Algernon is just dying over it, especially since he's kind of done a similar thing in which he claims he has an invalid brother named Bunbury, who he blames a whole bunch of shit for. So Jack/Ernest wants to marry Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn's mother is just like, we don't know where you've been, absolutely not. And of course, Gwendolyn is just obsessed with the idea of marrying a man named Ernest, so much for any hope of him being able to be honest with her.
But he's so earnest. I mean, that is the punt. That is the joke. That is also
the joke.
That's the joke.
This liar reveal plot didn't make me want to die inside, which is an improvement. Shout out Oscar Wilde.
Yeah, hey, that's...
It gets revealed very early on, and it's just mostly... It's fun seeing two upper-class twits realize that, oh my god, my actions have consequences.
God, imagine Imagine if we got this with prime pythons, when I was still talking to the python.
Well, I mean, we're still talking to Eric Idle, and as far as I'm aware, Michael Palin hasn't fucked up yet.
Yeah, but imagine Algernon is a Cleese character.
Oh,
who are we
100%.
fucking kidding? And I'm not talking to Cleese because he's a fucking derf.
Yeah, no, none of us are. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There's no way the Pythons are the Pythons without the foundation built by Wilde.
And it makes sense because you can't just say you have plans in high society because then they'll double down. What are those plans? Do I know anybody? Do they have money? Or do they have status?
Is that not 90% of what the fuck is going on in Pygmalion?
A little bit.
Pygmalion sure do be a bunch of people meeting in rooms and yapping.
Yes. Yeah, wouldn't know anything about that. Shut up.
Hi, Liza. Didn't know you. Violence.
Anyway.
But in all seriousness, so much of English literature is just about upper class English people being nosy bitches.
Meanwhile, Algernon decides to also pretend to be Ernest because, of course, while Jack is in the country, he talks about a brother named Ernest and basically seduces Cecily.
Cecily? I get it. Cecily? I get it. it. He's wearing a sheer blouse. I get it.
Yeah, if Ncuti Gatwa
came wandering in, it's just like, no, I know I've been very wicked, but I promise I will do better. I was like, okay.
Again, Wilde and Byron should never have met.
I don't think they did, thankfully.
That is the only thing holding this timeline together.
The entire cast is horny on main, including Cecily's tutor and the Reverend. Miss Prism, you fancy a priest?
As Mrs. Lovett has once said, why not try a little priest?
I don't think that's what she meant, Alex.
I was making a joke.
Listen. Yes, that is about actually eating people in the context of Sweeney Todd. However, if we want to transpose this in true Wilde fashion, that could be made a blowjob joke.
True then.
It's probably meant to be, let's be so for fucking real.
Porque de los dos. All I'm saying is that, I still think it works.
The entendres are doubling, yes.
We did also have Stephen with her without his private Sondheim. That verse was not in the movie, but...
Rip to Miss Prism, you would have enjoyed Fleabag.
And I guess so would he. But yeah, and just basically shenanigans ensue.
As they should.
Yes. There's not a whole lot to talk about plot-wise. It really is just a series of a comedy of errors. And it is a delight. Like
the whole exchange between Ernest and Algernon.
How you can sit there calmly eating muffins when we're in this horrible trouble I can't make out. You seem to me to be perfectly heartless.
But I can hardly eat muffins in an agitated manner. The butter would probably get on my cuffs. One should always eat muffins quite calmly. It is the only way to eat them.
I say it's perfectly heartless you're eating muffins at all under the circumstances.
When I am in trouble, eating is the only thing that consoles me. Indeed, when I'm in really great trouble, as anyone who knows me intimately will tell you, I refuse everything except food and drink at the present moment. I am eating muffins because I am unhappy. Besides, I'm particularly fond of muffins.
Well, that's no reason why you should eat them all in that greedy way.
Jack, I wish you would have some tea cake. I don't like tea cake.
Good heavens! I suppose a man may eat his own muffins in his own garden.
You just said it was perfectly heartless to eat muffins.
I said it was perfectly heartless of you. Under the circumstances, that's a very different thing.
That may be, but muffins are the same.
Algy, I wish to goodness you'd go.
You can't possibly ask me to go without having some dinner. It's absurd. I never go without having my dinner. Nobody ever does.
Why does this feel like this would be a perfect play to cast with Looney Tunes and just have Bugs and Daffy in the lead roles?
That would actually be a lot of fun. But I would also accept the Muppets.
The Muppets is... Kermit's definitely a Jack. I'm debating who an Algernon would be. I want to say Fozzie just because there's a mistaken identity thing.
I'd personally say Algie should be done by Pepe.
No. Algernon's the obligatory human.
No, I was like, Lady Bracknell's human, because you can get... Judi Dench has already played her, but you could get Meryl.
She can do anything.
I think the big problem with the Muppets and the Looney Tunes is that both of them have a fucking gender problem, and there are just enough women in this play to make that a problem.
That is sad but true. More Lady Muppets and Looney Tunes, please.
I mean, and if we could include the Queen Martian from Duck Dodgers.
Interesting.
But other than Looney Tunes casting, and a Python casting, and a Muppets casting, this cannot turn into an oops all casting episode. That's a different version of IOR. Actually, that's a fun idea for an IOR, is don't adapt anything. Pitch your best cast for an adaptation.
I thrive on chaos.
Yeah, so this is essentially a societal comedy of errors, as everyone is dancing around forwards, backwards, and sideways and trying to not get to the church on time, and everyone just being immaculately horny on Maine, for better and for worse, but mostly for worse. Butler's not being paid enough. Governess is not being paid enough.
Priest's not being paid enough because there's two guys going to him, both wanting to get baptized under the name of Ernest.
Yeah,
and they're both too old to do so.
And also, it's really just about, like, oh my god, you guys just do not have enough to do, apparently. Like, Cecily invented a whole ass courtship backstory for her and Algernon, for fuck's sake. She wrote letters. She invented a reason that the engagement briefly broke off. Like, Jesus Christ, Cecily.
Cecily, can I interest you in this thing called fanfiction?
Right?
Vibrators.
Yes. Yes, both, honestly. And I mean, hey, the Victorian era was when the vibrator was invented.
Right.
Because they thought that it would cure quote-unquote female hysteria.
Yeah, I read a whole play about it. It was fucking weird.
I also read a whole play about it.
Hugh Dancy was in a movie about it.
Stop saying things to me, Jazz.
As the play itself says, it is awfully hard work doing nothing.
Capital and idleness go hand in hand. And I'll admit, I went, hell yeah, Comrade Sicily.
Hell yeah.
You know, it does occur to me that the Muffins Exchange does feel like a lost Laurel and Hardy sketch. I can absolutely see Jack going,
well, Algie, this is a fine mess you've gotten us into.
Yeah, true. I could see it.
But honestly, Algernon, I get it. I too like to eat my feelings.
I usually do it with Twinkies or something, but that's just me.
But let's talk about some of the staging and how suggestive some of it is, though.
I love when all of the couples think they're gonna get the clearance. Each one of them has a different jump. That's so silly.
Not just that, just rejected throughout most of the show.
I love the bit where it looks like Jack is going down on Gwen. I love how when the curtain parts, it looks like Gwen is, eating Cecily's ass, basically.
Yeah.
None of you are straight.
Something, Ncuti Gatwa shirtless in a kilt.
Something, Ncuti Gatwa in just the Sherlock cape.
There's a strange amount of 80s in this here Victorian play.
it's the Tate and Tennant Much Ado All Over Again.
Also, another note about the You're Beautiful needle drop. They would be playing guitar at them.
Yeah, no, I'm shocked they didn't get a guitar for that.
Algernon and Jack would learn guitar to impress people at a party and only know Wonderwall. Them handshake Howell Jenkins.
I wanna push you around. Well, I will.
No, they are just Ken. But yeah, no, because obviously Ncuti Gatwa was a Ken.
I don't even care about being Ken anymore. I just miss my friend Barbie.
That's cool.
Barbie!
Dear listeners, there's a whole backstory for Ernest in which he basically got accidentally abandoned in a handbag.
What is up with babies in handbags?
This handshake bright star finding babies.
I don't know. Was that just a common way for babies to get lost back in the day?
I mean, like, okay, we're gonna pretend to take this farce seriously for 3 seconds, right? If I remember rightly, Dad is a military general, right? So it could possibly be that he's dead, or just a dick, or abusive, because he's a military guy, and they're basically just cops for Empire. And so, Mom has kid. Kid is maybe planned, maybe unplanned. Who's to say? We don't have great birth control yet. We don't have great skills at pulling out yet. The condom is just starting to come into fashion properly, and it's reusable, so it's kind of grody. And so, you've got this kid, right? Maybe you tell the nerds, go lose it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that way you can blame it entirely on the nurse and not on yourself. No, you were not a neglectful mother. You just had a bad wet nurse. It's
in
fine.
fairness, Miss Prism did say that she had done it by accident, I'm pretty sure.
She left her manuscript in the bassinet and the baby in the bag.
But what if that's just a socially acceptable lie to cover her ass?
That is also fair.
True.
Who knows? Because that is basically all these people are doing, besides saying completely outrageous, but also kind of feels like Wilde was saying the quiet part of some of the bitchier aspects of high society out loud, especially through Lady Bracknell.
I've never heard somebody take so long to dress for so little result. Best line.
And how losing 2 parents is just carelessness.
Yeah. How do you lose a parent? How do you lose a parent? You forget to cherish them.
Anyway, and also just she doesn't care for the fact that we're trying to treat invalids better. I think Wilde had some opinions, TM.
Is Hugh Skinner's just typecast just guy who's trying his best? There's this, bringing back Fleabag for a second.
I'd also argue his roles in Les Mis and Mamma Mia too, especially if you go by Jolie's characterization in The Brick.
He's trying so hard. And yet so far.
Then in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Only for it to backfire, or like Wile E. Coyote.
We're gonna play a game. We're gonna play, has River seen Hugh Skinner in anything else?
Did you see the 2012 Les Mis movie?
Only the first half of it. And then we were watching it to sleepover and midnight hit and we were exhausted.
He's a barricade boy.
I hadn't heard much good things about that Les Mis movie, so...
We'll talk about it one day. But no, he plays Jolie, and he's very well cast as Jolie, especially if you know anything about him in the book, how he is a hypochondriac med student. Yeah, no, that movie was stacked.
He's got a bit part in Last Jedi.
Yeah, he does.
Yes, so
I guess he's the reason it's a degree for...
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I have not seen anything else he's been in except for It and Fleabag.
You haven't seen The Invitation?
No.
You should see The Invitation. That's a good time.
The Death Cult one or the Dracula one?
The Dracula one, but let's be totally real. Both are kind of a death cult.
Yeah, fair.
True.
He was also apparently in one of the Torchwood Big Finish audios that I haven't listened to because I don't have Big Finish.
Ooh. So hey, more Doctor Who connections for him, I guess. More Whoniverse connections.
Everyone has either been in Doctor Who, Midsummer Murders, or both. Yeah, the British Isles have 12 actors, 3 sets, 2 props, and one of those sets is just whatever the interior of the TARDIS looks like that month.
That is fair.
Would not be a bad time to say that I'm not the biggest Doctor Who fan.
That is on par of other things you've said you've haven't seen or are not a fan of.
Doctor Who is a chaotic child, however, I would kill for it, and its little sibling, the Sarah Jane Adventures, and its big sibling, Torchwood. I would commit violent acts for its big sibling, Torchwood.
So basically, it is revealed that the family that Jack/Ernest came from was in fact Lady Bracknell's sister. And Mrs. Prism was the one who quote-unquote accidentally left his handbag. Therefore, not only is he actually of upper crust enough for him to marry Gwendolyn, even though they're cousins, but that was just the thing you did back then. He was in fact actually christened Ernest.
Because that's Algernon's dad's name.
Yup. Which, what a co-winky-dink.
We love it. We love farce. We love those little threads that get needled.
Let's talk about the queer coding in this here show beyond the staging, shall we?
Coding? Coding?
Yay.
I think they lined their suits with neon arrows that say, "This bitch gay, good for them."
I had the live chat up when I was doing the replay. I caught the broadcast when it aired on Thursday, but then didn't finish it because I was like, do I want to? I already missed the first couple minutes, so I, like, almost every variation of comment was like, these two should kiss. These two should, like, by God, these bitches gay, good for them. And when the reveal TM happened, there was one who's like, I was waiting for this moment the entire time.
Oh no.
I think for me, more so than Algie and Jack, Cecily and Gwendolyn? Yeah! Those bitches are gay!
Yeah, no. This is like a speed run of Gelfie somehow.
You're right, you should say it.
Yes.
To be honest, near the end, I was expecting them to just be like, where are you going to leave you both and go off with each other? Toodaloo.
It felt like they were like 5 minutes away from it, yeah. They're just like all in a pile together. It's like, I can't tell who I'm kissing. It's just like,
If it looks like a polycule and quacks like a polycule.
Unfortunately, the polycule dreams are kind of killed by that reveal at the end.
I mean, yes, but it doesn't have to be a full entangled polycule. Remember, you can just have partners.
Right.
Like, this feels very much like Jack going, this is my wife Gwendolyn and her girlfriend Cecily and her boyfriend Algie.
Yeah.
Someone do it with the fucking bit from Parks and Rec, yeah. And also it even works because, like, Gwendolyn's gay for Cecily but straight for me, and I can't stand Jack.
Well, now he's not Jack anymore. He's Ernest now.
And I can't stand Algie. Yeah, it still works.
Oh, nah. I mean, they can't stand each other, but they love each other. And, like, whomst among us doesn't have a friend like that?
I try very hard to not have friends like better for my mental health.
But I think we've all had friends like that.
If I did, I repressed them. Anyway,
we have all learned the importance of being earnest. And how do we end this beautiful thing?
A drag show. This Handshake, the 12th night production of the same year that we have also talked about.
Very good bookends. Love the florals. Love the outfits. There's big hair.
This drag show was way more earned.
True.
Yeah, that's fair.
But even before the drag show, the one thing I think we forgot to mention, the fact that they straight up said that one of their made up like alternate identities blew up. He got Michael Bayed.
A man exploded today when he was struck by a double-decker bus. We have video footage.
I don't care if this was before double-decker buses. The vibes are there.
Sure.
So they did it with the taxis. Remember, kids, this is just Pygmalion again. Shaw would have hated Wilde, and I think that's for the best.
No, Shaw hated this show, actually.
Shaw hated everything.
Yes.
I read a comment that said, as a queer American, this production is so important and it's so great to see because of the events in this country right now and how queer people are being affected by the laws. And it just really made me think, it's like, wow, this production really means a lot to a lot of people. And I didn't really think about that before. And I just thought that was really sweet.
Hell, the fact that it came out of England, even more so. I mean, it earned the nickname Turf Island for a reason.
I have to say we're just as equally bad as them, to be honest, if not worse.
Looking at you, Joanne!
But I'm thinking about it, would the U.S. even be able to have a production like this currently?
As much as the Fed does things fucking bullshit, right? We all fuck the fascist tangerine. All my homies hate the fascist tangerine. We have to acknowledge the United States are 50 city-states in a trench coat, and we are united on a technicality. So as much as, like, one state will not do something like this ever within the next 10 to 15 years, another state is doing it just as easily. Right?
Like we just talked about the 12th Night production.
Yeah, there's a spectrum to this. As an American who is living abroad, that may be a crack den, but it's a crack den with people I care about in it. I don't love painting the US in a broad stroke.
Yeah.
Like, we do it a lot, and I get why we do it a lot, because, man, I do it too. I'll do it for a quick joke, and I feel like, the same way that Nick feels about Texas and being able to paint a broad stroke about Texas because they are from Texas, I feel the same way about the U.S. If someone's going to paint the U.S. in a broad stroke, I'm like, no, man, we are not all like this. We are 50 city-states in the trench coat. We are doing our best.
And even the worst of the states, they will have people who are just kind of stuck there.
Yeah, remember, kids, we all got gerrymandered to hell and back again, and we only have so much control, and we've had to wrestle it back every time. I understand the sentiment that, yes, indeed, it is very important to see a show like this in a time like this. Art is not praxis, but, it gives us hope.
It helps.
It helps, yes. But again, you could do a show like this. You can always do a show like this. We have to be able to do shows like this. We're still gonna be doing fucking theater in the underground, man.
Never comply in advance.
You have to do stuff like this. Because if you get a white woman in with catty Victorians and she comes out being like, those bitches might have been gay, good for them, we might get somewhere, man.
It'd be nice. But yes, more classic British comedies ending in drag shows, please. With diverse cast.
And maybe to make it easier to digest for some people, make it an adaptation of something we already know.
For sure, but also it's good to expand your horizon. Point is, silly, goofy time.
silly, goofy time. I had fun with this. I don't know if I'd read any of Wilde's other works based on this.
Dorian Gray has a lot more substance.
I don't necessarily always need substance. Sometimes I can just get away with some silly goofy. Ncuti Gatwa should do whatever he wants forever.
Also, let's talk about the fact that apparently Wonka was quoting Wilde this whole time.
The suspense is terrible. I hope it'll last.
Love shenanigans, love bits, love japes. You
are a bit enjoyer, Gillian, yes.
Love a gorgeous set of costumes, love a gorgeous set of sets.
Love a gorgeous set of casts.
Love a matte painting. The outside Walton is so vibrant and so pastels. Yeah. Mwah. Florals. Mwah.
So pretty.
More British shows that just start in drag. I feel like we just gotta start British plays in drag, and then by the end it's a straight bow. That's funnier.
Speaking of what the hell this is all about, why does The Importance of Being Earnest endure?
The same reason people like reality TV?
Yes. People are silly, and we keep being silly, and we gotta embrace the silliness. As it is written, so it shall be.
Go ahead, Sid.
I think people love seeing rich people being made fun of. I think it's simple as that. I think people have loved it since the beginning of time. It'll continue happening. I think especially in this current political climate, people love to see it. They love to see like a quote unquote fall from grace, even though in this case it's not necessarily that, but just making fun of rich people.
Fucking rich people.
Yeah. From what I can see, I personally think it's just shenanigans. Shenanigans that just keep getting worse and worse and worse for the mains until it all just gets to a big fireworks factory at the end.
And I think we shall shenan-again.
Yep.
Final thoughts?
Once again, Ncuti Gatwa, I am free on Sunday if you are also free.
Sharon D. Clark, you are giving a master class. All of y'all are giving master classes and having fun. Did you know she's also Dulcimer? I was like,
yeah, no, only because of Letterboxd, though.
Hell yeah.
And if we stand together, Dulcimer!
Little one, I know you'll keep fighting. Because I know you.
Yeah, no, the whole cast is great, the costumes are great, the sets are great. Top tier. Would love to see them tackle more stuff like this.
Can I get Shooty's puck?
I'm just thinking because I noticed that on the West End, they experiment more with the concept, or there's like, I don't want to say better staging, but it's more, think outside of the box more than in American theater, and I just think that's really interesting. That's just something I noticed with British productions compared to American productions.
R.I.P. Oscar Wilde, I'm sure you would have loved this.
R.I.P. Oscar Wilde, you would have hit on Ncuti Gatwa.
One of the Letterboxd comments, I was like, R.I.P. Ncuti Gatwa, you would have loved that Rush by Troye Sivan and Guest by Charlie XCX were in the intermission music.
Who has stuff to plug?
I am Cutie Puppy Fire on the socials. I mostly reblog things, but occasionally I have hit tweets on Twitter, so there.
And what's more Oscar Wilde than that, I ask you? He would have absolutely killed it on Twitter.
As it is written, so it shall be.
You can find me on Blue Sky at Dreams Rebel. You can find me on my own website, blog.filmlion.online. You can find me on Letterboxd at punk_skeleton. I am the host of The Straights Aren't All Right, a podcast where I gather a bunch of queers together, make them watch straight rom-coms, and try to answer the question, are the straights like okay? For those playing the home game, probably not, but they're also not all that straight. You can find that where other pods are cast and on Blue Sky at Aren't All Right Podcom. If I'm lucky, I gotta go schedule the next web. Yikes! Anyway.
I have at my channel, Dreammaker Studios, we are still working on getting things done. It's been a bit of a slow thing, but I'm sure we can still get something going eventually. I hope.
I don't have anything to plug. I'm just happy to be here.
Aw, we're happy to have you, Sid. It's been a while. Pity we can't end this in a drag show.
Alas.
I ain't got the wardrobe for it.
Make the world better, if nothing else, so we can have more shenanigans like this instead of the intense, scary drama that we have in the real world.
And to expand on that hero's call to action for this week, we are highlighting the Queer Liberation Library's Give Butter campaign. They have already reached their goal of 69,000. Nice. But as someone who recently benefited from this wonderful free library that literally anyone in the States can sign up for, I really am so happy to see that they're doing well and would like to see them do even better so we can get more queer books, both fiction and nonfiction, out there in times of censorship. They tried and unfortunately succeeded in silencing Oscar Wilde. Let's make sure they can't do that to any other authors. And as always, you can find me at Faye Riviera on all the socials. And please consider checking out this podcast's Tumblr page, inechretellingpodcast.tumblr.com. Please consider using the podcatcher of your choice to rate and review us, and spread the word about us where you can. Maybe you have friends who will like our Muppet episodes, or maybe you'll have friends who will like it when we talk more about Jane Austen. One of my goals within Each Retelling is that there is truly, almost certainly, an episode for everyone. And if you have room in your wallets, please consider donating to our Patreon. Our various tiers give you access to episodes a little bit early. It gives you access to our IER book club that I started during the hiatus. And it gets you a direct thank you in the credits, such as for Kyle Calgren, Connor Duffy, and Juan Garcia. Thanks so much for your contributions. This is making it all the more likely that this podcast keeps going. You can also support us through our Ko-Fi or the Support the Show link below. However you choose to support us, however, just the fact that you are listening to us means the world to us and helps us reach the next chapter of our story. And speaking of the next chapter of our story, for no particular reason, I feel like this podcast should set sail again. This time to the ancient shores of Polynesia. I think we should talk about Moana. And what are you talking about? There's only one Moana. The animated one from 10 years ago. There's not other Moanas. Shut up. We hope you will come and join us. And remember, stories gain power in each retelling.
Ernest, my own Ernest. I felt from the first you could have no other name.
Gwendolyn. It's a terrible thing for a man to suddenly find out that all his life he's been speaking nothing but the truth. Can you forgive me?
I can, for I feel you are sure to change.
My own one! Letitia?
Frederick? At last!
Cecily? At last?
Gwendolyn! At last!
My nephew, you seem to be displaying signs of triviality.
On the contrary, Aunt Augusta, I have now realized for the first time in my life the vital importance of being earnest!